So, Philip, explain what you call the wheel of health. I did a little research on your website. How does that play a role in health conditions that we may be having?
So fundamentally, what I discovered from studying all these different ancient medical systems is that there are key elements that need to be incorporated in our health, in our lifestyle, in order for us to be healthy. And so the first step really is our constitution. You know, every medical system from these ancient worlds understand that everybody is different. We can't treat everyone in the same way. Some people have certain constitutions where they only need 4 hours sleep a night. Other people need more like 10 hours sleep at night. So everyone's different. So the first step is understanding that we're fundamentally different, that we can't all eat the same kinds of food and live in the same way in order to be healthy. So the first step is, I suppose, is the structure of the wheel, which is the constitution. And then secondly to that, there's our environment. And of course, our environment has changed radically over the last 100 years. So the kind of health issues that we're suffering from now, in many ways, are related to the burden of environmental toxins. So I do all kinds of different tests on patients, blood tests, and we do fat biopsies and all kinds of things. And we find so many different environmental toxins that are bioaccumulating in individuals. These substances humanity's never had to deal with before. It's not something that we've gradually adapted to or coped with over millennia. This is something that, these are things that we're having to deal with suddenly now. So there's all elements in the wheel of health regarding our constitution, the environment, and there's also other key areas that we can address in order to get optimum health as well.
You mentioned earlier that you've been to China and you do a lot of research into ancient medicines and things like that. How do you incorporate that, those philosophies into what you just said, that we're dealing with things that we've never seen before?
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a contradiction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's happened is that we've, in many ways, replaced acute disease for chronic disease. You know, we've done very well with dealing with certain conditions, and Western medicine is fantastic for emergency situations. But the framework of Western medicine is based on, do we have, like for example, does somebody have malaria or not? Do they have an infection or not? Have they had a heart attack or not? So there's kind of like a binary system of understanding. And that's very helpful in an acute situation. So there's a drug for this particular problem and there's another drug for that particular problem. What's happening now, though, is that many people aren't suffering with so many of the acute diseases, it's more of the chronic conditions. So an individual will come to me in my clinic with asthma and they have eczema and maybe they have irritable bowel and they have migraines. And if you have a drug for every single symptom you have, then suddenly we're not dealing with one particular situation, we're dealing with the plethora of all of these different medications to try and deal with all of these symptoms. So that doesn't make sense. So how do we deal with chronic illness and chronic disease? Well, ancient peoples knew how to look after themselves. So they knew that what kinds of foods to eat, what kinds of situations to create in order to produce optimum health. So paradoxically, by understanding ancient medicines, they're very good at working with chronic illnesses. They're very, very good for helping us with chronic disease because we can't treat each of those conditions or each of those symptoms. We have to help the individual to get better. And the way we do that is to promote, you know, good nutrition, help the immune system, help the body recover from certain conditions. So it's learning from those ancient traditions is actually very helpful for dealing with chronic disease.